Buenos dias, guys, and welcome back to Mama Lotties. Today I'm joined by two extra special guests. Usually they are the hosts of their own shows, but today they're my guests. I'm going to take advantage of that. So I've got Kelly Ann Borge on my right, and I've got Ben Lynch on my left. And if you don't know who they are, then you've probably heard their voices in the breakfast show on GBC every morning, because I know that they wake me up every morning. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hello.
So I think because it's sort of breakfast that you used to doing, we're going to make some brunch recipes today.
Okay.
So I'm going to start off with some Shakshouka.
Never heard of that before.
You've never heard of it? Well, I'll describe that as we get on. But I want to know what it is that you guys have been planning. So what have you been planning?
He hasn't been planning much. He's winging it today.
Yeah, well, it's stuff that I've cooked before, but I'm just bringing it all together to make one big brunch.
Okay.
Yeah, it
a
should work.
pudding of flavours.
No, it's not pudding.
No?
It's very well thought out. It's based on a dish I had in Switzerland once called Rosti du Patron.
Oh, that sounds fancy.
And that's
fancy.
It's like a big hash brown kind of pancake with a big gammon steak on top of it and then a fried egg on top. But I'm doing a healthier, different kind of version of it.
Well, I'm looking forward to that one. What about yourself?
And I'm doing a Greek loaf, which also has a fancy Greek name, but I can't pronounce that.
So everything's a bit Middle Eastern,
yes,
European.
and it's got mortadella with green olives, loads of parmesan, and thyme.
Time. We've got plenty of time.
Yes.
For the day. So first up in this brunch off is my tangy tomato shakshuka. So we first need to start with some olive oil. So Kelly, can you have, yeah, thank you very much. I've got my assistants
I can do
today.
this part I can do.
So olive oil to start and turn on the hob to about a medium, just to get this sort of started. We need to get some onions. Okay. So I think you've already chopped half an onion there.
Yep, I did that.
You did? I did that.
Taking the credit for my chopping.
So if you can pass me that for the moment.
Not the whole thing?
Yeah, the whole thing.
There you go.
I'm just going to put this in here. So this is going to be sort of the base for this. We're going to wait for this to become translucent. But in the meantime, could I ask you to dice the green pepper, just really small, so that they can start cooking at the same time that this is cooking. Have you made huevo flamenco before?
No.
I
made like variations of it, similar styles, just like with whatever I have in my fridge. I think there's a beauty of it. You just crack some eggs over it, some tomato puree.
Really simple. Yeah. With usually some fries, no? You make some chips. But this recipe really can be adapted to any ingredients that you like. I've added olives, I've added chickpeas. But I mean, if you wanted to, you could add some chorizo, make it more of your own. When you have the onions almost ready, and how the peppers coming along?
Yeah, I'm getting there. Don't rush me, man.
Tough crowd.
Is there anything I can be doing in the meantime?
If you could dice up some tomatoes for me, I think for
finely
a dish,
diced as well?
More or less. Let's just give it a bit of a bite. It's going to go soft anyway, but I think about 2 tomatoes for a dish this size. This was going to feed about 2 people, 3 people. Okay. Very hungry one person.
So Justin, because we're doing brunch recipes, these are probably recipes that would normally do at the weekend and not during the week because people are working, they're in a rush in the morning.
These are more of a Sunday dish, I think. Sunday brunch. You know, you just go, wake up late, make some for yourself, for your partner, enjoy your mornings, which is what I love, lazy weekend mornings.
Yeah. No, like to make something like this at the time that we get up in the morning.
It would be impossible, it'd be dangerous.
During the week, or you guys start at 6 o'clock or something, no?
We'd have to get up at like 4.
6:30, yeah, we'd have to get up at like 4.
Oh no, I don't even have time in the morning. Usually my mornings are the breakfast pots. Like the night before I prepare
oats, that's
some
what
oats
I do.
with some yogurt, simple. During the week it's very simple. The weekends, you can spend more time. Yeah. What do you generally have for breakfast?
For breakfast, whatever Kelly brings in.
Basically, I am the supplier of breakfast most of the time.
Some oat balls.
Yes, I made some oat balls, which was basically just oats, peanut butter, dark chocolate chips, honey, and vanilla essence.
You need to see Kelly's balls because they're really, really tasty.
Well, if I do say so myself, they're pretty good. Okay, is that all right, Justin?
That looks perfectly fine to me. Okay. So overall, I think this should take about 20 minutes. I think it's about 10 minutes or so frying, and then 10 minutes in the oven. So just enough to get the eggs to sort of bake on the top, and so they're still a bit runny in the middle. So I think we can get away with this for now. So we can add the tomatoes in there.
It smells really good.
So basically frito to the base of this dish. All right. This looks like it's softened a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and add in the chickpeas to this and some olives. I got some Greek olives. I find these are the tastier ones.
Okay. Right, yeah.
The Kalamata olives. I don't know what it is about them, but they just...
It's quite distinctive
flavour,
kind of Greek flavour as well.
So I find that this will give this a really nice boost of flavour.
It's quite a healthy dish as well, really.
It's all vegetables, so like I said, you can add meat in there. You can add some chorizo and give it like a it's the Iberian twist to it. And finally, I'm going to add in the tomate triturado. So the tomatoes are in there. All the tomato, everything. We've got all the ingredients that we've used before.
Smells really good. It's making me hungry.
Yeah, it's making me hungry. So I think we should finish them off. You can give me a hand with this one if you want.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. So we're just going to crack
Pressure.
it. Yeah. And then just break it on top. Like that. And that is going to go in the oven so that the eggs cook off. The top is going to become all nice and crisp a bit. We'll check back on it in 10 minutes. I think that should be fine.
Wow.
Yum. Those eggs look perfect.
Yeah, thank you. So
well, I did crack one. Joint effort.
It was a joint effort, one each. I'm going to season this, so just a bit of salt.
How much of a difference can you tell between Himalayan salt and normal salt?
You know, I find the Himalayan salt saltier.
Okay.
I
so
find
you need
this,
a bit less then.
Yeah, a bit less, just a little squeeze. I think Ben's going to test it.
Definitely salt.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's salt. It's salt. It's really nice.
And I'm going to add a few extra olives on the side, so you can just dot them around. And then, Ben, you can help me with that one. You can just sort of...
Not too much.
Tear them with your hand. Not too much because Kay doesn't like it.
Should I just do one half?
Yes.
Like,
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Like when you order a pepperoni pizza.
Might not look quite as aesthetic though.
No, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We can make it do. No, he's just going for the whole thing. Sorry.
It looks very pretty and it gives a nice pop of colour as well.
No, exactly. So I think this...
Is that enough?
Basically, yeah, that's enough for me. There's enough coriander. So basically that's what it's meant to look like, more or less. Right, well I think we should tuck into this. So go ahead.
The egg is cooked perfectly.
So we should get a bit of everything. You okay there?
Yeah, no.
Trying to get the yolk.
No, see the thing, I've done a cooking show before, and the trick is when you're trying something, don't get a big mouthful because then you won't be able to say anything afterwards. so I'm trying to get a
little
small,
petite bite.
A smaller mouthful. That's really good. I'm sorry, I'm gonna double dip.
Yeah.
Oh, I've already done that. I didn't even apologise.
So you approve?
Definitely approve.
This would be a perfect breakfast. I didn't think you need anything else, no?
No, maybe a bit of bread to dip, but that's it.
And we forgot, but you can also season this with a bit of paprika.
All right.
Some sweet paprika in here will give it a bit of an extra smoky flavour to it.
I love paprika.
So I think we should finish this off a bit more. And then you're going to show us how to make your bread dish.
Greek loaf.
Your Greek loaf. Fantastic.
We can have big spoonfuls now. There's no more talking.
Kellyanne's up next with her savoury breakfast bread.
I'm going to try and pronounce this right. It's called...
Okay.
I forgot it.
Tiropita.
Tiropita.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I think it's called Tiropita me Elias, but I'm not sure that pronunciation is right, so we're just going to call it a Greek loaf.
Greek loaf.
I think that's safer. Okay.
Okay, yeah, let's
now,
go with that.
This loaf doesn't have any yeast in it, so that's super easy for like an everyday recipe. You don't need to let it prove. Just everything in one bowl, super easy, don't need to clean much, and it's in the oven for half an hour. Would my lovely assistant like to cut my mozzarella for me, please?
Sure, yeah.
Now, if you can cut it in quite big chunks, because it's nice to see the pink and the colour within the loaf. I'll just sift the flour in the meantime.
There's no yeast or anything. Is there anything else that's going to keep this sort of together?
Well, there's eggs, melted butter, but the main ingredient, I think the most important ingredient in this bread is parmesan. There's almost as much parmesan in this than there is flour, so that's what really gives it the taste.
That's going to be the flavour.
That's the flavour. But now it's just the flour, the parmesan. It's very good.
Right, so there's about 150
grams of self-raising flour, so it does raise slightly.
Or about 80 grams or something of cheese.
Yeah, 80 grams of cheese. Actually, the original recipe did call for less cheese, but my motto in cooking is the more cheese the better. So I just upped it to 80 grams and it works well. Then you need quite a bit of thyme, about 2 tablespoons. And you can also sprinkle a little bit of mint if you have some, but not too much. You don't want it to overpower.
Fresh mint or dry mint?
Dry mint. Bit of pepper. I'm not going to use salt because we're using salted butter and the parmesan is quite salty naturally. So now we need the mozzarella inside the dish.
Do you want all of that in there?
Yes, please. If you can try like breaking up the pieces as well a bit, so
Separate it.
don't just so it's not like in lumps.
Yeah, I did
Kind of not like that.
I separated it earlier. I did it.
This is a batch I separated earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
As you'll see, that they're quite big lumps of the mozzarella, but that's nice because it's quite like a rustic bread. You don't want it to look too perfect.
No,
you
it's
want
nice to be
like
very
texture.
artisan. And you want to be able to, when you cut it, see everything and see all the layers as well.
Exactly.
Have you baked this quite often in the weekends, or?
This is actually a recipe that my sister's passed on to me, and it's kind of become a family staple.
Oh, okay.
Because it's so easy to make, and normally you think of breads, you think, oh, it takes so long, and you have to prove it and all that first, and you don't have to with this one. It's just like literally 1 bowl recipe, half an hour in the oven. So I think it's something that we do more regularly now as part of family meals, which is nice.
So you can have it so part of dinner or in the weekend.
Yeah, or just like brunch, bit of butter, even a bit of ham and cheese, and almost like normal toast, just extra tasty. So now we need to melt the butter. Put your pan on the medium heat because it doesn't take much for the butter to melt.
Right.
80 grams of butter in the pan. And whilst that is melting down, Ben, can you just slightly whisk those 4 eggs?
All
just
4,
slightly beat them, yeah. Eggs go into the bowl with the rest of the mixture, please. Just stir in. There's no need to beat the eggs too much. You don't need to whisk or anything, just enough so that they're a bit beaten.
So you don't need a machine for this?
Exactly. This just adds to the beauty of this recipe. It's just so easy.
I suppose the rougher it looks, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Is that why you chose it? Because you have to make it look presentable.
I'm just laughing at you. Justin, if you can just slowly pour in a bit of butter at a time whilst I stir it in. Like I said, you don't want the eggs to start cooking with the heat of the butter, so just a little bit at a time.
So if you find that the mixture is too wet, can you
I suppose you can just add a little bit more self-raising flour. So now with a bit of grease-proof paper,
yep,
you plunk it in your tin. Couldn't get any easier. You can actually also put Greek olives in this bread as well, if you want extra olives.
That would be really nice.
But I think because the mozzarella already has olives, it's not really necessary. This one should take about 30 to 35 minutes on a medium heat, so like 170, 175.
In a fan oven?
Fan-assisted oven, yeah. Okay, so depending on the oven, some are stronger than others. It's normally about 30, 35 minutes, and then I normally just test it with a blunt knife, and if it comes out non-sticky, then that's it, it's done.
Ideal. Why can I say that? That smells amazing.
It does, doesn't it? Okay, so shall we tuck in?
Let's tuck in.
Mmm.
Buonissimo.
That's your best one yet? Would you serve this like at breakfast or
Yeah.
like at lunch? Just have a loaf.
You can either have it as like a side thing with lunch or dinner. It's also actually really nice with tzatziki. Like sometimes they do like Greek theme nights at home.
Yeah.
And I'll just have tzatziki and hummus and halloumi, and this bread goes really well.
Well, we
with
made
it.
some hummus a few weeks ago, so that will go perfectly with this.
Yes, it would.
But with the butter, it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
you can just have it as brunch, simple.
I think we should finish this off with his Rosti, which is going to make next.
Yeah, shall we do it?
All right.
One more bite first.
Okay. We're back with our brunch special, and up next it's Ben's turn to whip up a mid-morning masterpiece. Well, after those 2 amazing brunches, I think it's time for a third. So Ben is going to take over now, and he's going to make some, I think, really delicious Rosti, by the sounds of it.
I call this the hipster brunch.
The hipster brunch, okay.
Yeah, it's got everything a hipster needs in their brunch. So you start off, as we did earlier on, frying up some oil.
Yeah.
And then, by the way, I'm making this up as I go along.
Okay.
And like, I don't do quantities or anything like that. I just chuck stuff in, and if it looks right, I usually go with it. So you want to fry up your garlic, and I'm going to say like a handful of onion, and just get that nice and kind of brown.
It's about a quarter onion, I think, should be enough for that.
Yeah, a quarter, maybe half. What you want to do is have that chopped nice and finely. Then you want to grate your sweet potato, and you have to squeeze the juice the sweet potato, because any excess water will kind of affect the way it cooks.
So a rosti, we've got to describe what a rosti is.
A rosti is like pretty much like a hash brown,
Yeah.
but it's got garlic in it, it's got onions, it's got a bit of cheese in it as well, and that all kind of binds it together. Plus the starch in the actual potato will bind it all together and make it.
So it's important that it's not watery, it's not runny.
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds like a really good combo.
So whilst that's frying, shall I show them how to squeeze out the water from the potatoes?
Yeah, do that. I mean, I managed that earlier on with some paper towels.
He doesn't want you to take all the credit.
No.
You're better off. You know me so well. You're better off using like a tea towel or something.
So pretty much just put it in the towel.
Yeah.
And just squeeze out.
It, and you'd be surprised at how much juice comes out of a potato.
I suppose if you leave it in, it will probably boil the mixture rather than fry it.
Yeah, exactly. Kelly, if you want to lay that out flat on that bacon tray.
What type of bacon are we using? Is it important to...
Smoked for me is brilliant and nice and streaky. Now, I've done a lot of research into bacon and the best way to cook it. And apparently, the best way to cook bacon is by boiling it.
Boiling it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but I'm not really into that. The second best way is baking.
Doesn't sound that good though, boiling it.
No, but apparently it just locks in the flavours and it's amazing. The second best way is baking it.
Is that because all the fat comes out and drains out a bit?
No excess oil as well.
Then grilling, then frying. That's my bacon rank.
That's your scale.
That's the order in which I have to. Also George Foreman grill, or any kind of grill like that that's got a slant.
Yeah.
Other grills are available. But that really works as well. So that's slightly cooked there now. So you want to put this in a bowl.
Right.
Take it off the heat, and if you want to throw some sweet potato in there.
The whole thing, yeah.
Let's see how it goes.
you tell me when.
Go maybe like 4:1 ratio kind of thing. So the onion and garlic.
Did you get that one? How's that?
Let's stir it up, see how it looks. So yeah, you've got that's a decent ratio there. You know, you can see the onion, but it's mostly sweet potato, and just throw a fistful of cheese in as well.
All right. So one of the good things I think about this one, which is the smells coming off the onions already.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is what I think is not that complicated to do, so it's pretty easy to make in the morning. No?
Depends on what time you get up. But yeah, weekend
morning.
Weekend hipster brunch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can.
Do you think maybe a bit more cheese?
Do you want to? Yeah, go on.
I would put a bit more cheese.
You can never have enough cheese.
Exactly.
That'll do. So you mix all that up. This is still on the heat. Then what you're going to do is you're going to put it in your skillet.
As is, no egg or anything.
No egg, no nothing.
So what's going to combine this to make it sort of sturdy enough that you can make a...
The starch. The cheese helps, but you don't need it. The starch does it all for you, really. And you want to get it like nice and flat and pressed down.
A bit of a pancake.
Yeah, and just let that do its thing for a bit. The bacon's going in the oven, but it cooks quite quick, bacon. So
this is going in at 180 for how long, more or less?
Until it's cooked to your liking. If you like it crispy, have it crispy. If you don't want it as crispy, take it out sooner.
All right, we'll say 20 minutes maybe.
We'll say 20 minutes.
Oh, we'll check it. We'll check on it, and then we can give you we can confirm the time.
So we just pop this in the oven for a little bit.
Yep.
Right. So the bacon's in the oven. The sweet potato rosti is in the oven. We'll leave it in there for about 5-10 minutes, and now we want to poach the eggs. Now, I usually poach eggs in the microwave. Right. It's really simple and really effective. It doesn't.
I never know how to poach eggs.
It's really tough to kind of.
I've done it this way before.
Get it right. So microwave in a mug, half a mug of water, and a plate on top, and maybe a little pinch of salt.
Oh, okay.
One of the classic tricks is boil up the water. You need some vinegar, and for some reason, because of science, it holds it all together. I don't know why. Let's have some salt in. What you have to do is form a little kind of whirlpool.
Well, the reason for the whirlpool is so that all the egg whites and the
so
egg yolks
so it doesn't
stays
spread
together.
out.
Exactly.
It's all to do with centrifugal force.
You're just throwing these big words at me.
Whoa. You've got to be really gentle with it.
There we go.
No eggshell, well done.
No eggshell, thank you very much.
How long would that take to get it just right?
Just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, you'll know.
These will take a couple of minutes, more or less. We're waiting.
I specified, before I came on this show, I specified there will be no quantities.
No.
I did the quantities and no timings.
Okay.
I'm wild in the kitchen. It's just crazy. Like, you just kind of just go with it and see what happens.
As long as at the end everything is edible, it's good.
Like often when I cook, I bring the plate out and it looks lovely, presentable, but the kitchen looks like a bomb site. It's like, I've been really good today and cleaned up as I've gone along, but usually it's just like, right, we'll leave that.
Because you're with us, that's why. Yeah, we're waiting for the egg white to just be white, basically.
Yeah.
And the egg yolk to cook a little bit.
The thing about this is the egg will carry on cooking after you take it out, because it's very...
That's a good poached egg.
The heat kind of carries on cooking it. So you need to kind of take it out just before.
Just before.
So this is bacon.
Delicious bacon.
Smells nice.
Sizzling.
So the bacon's done, and this is, I think,
that will be done as well.
ready.
Right. The Rosti is almost successfully cooked.
Good.
He says. So what I'm going to do is take some of this bacon, but it's still quite juicy, see? So we'll just leave that to one side for now.
Okay.
That was just 3 rashers. I think we could do with a 4th, don't we, really?
So how many people would this feed, more or less?
This is for me and me alone.
Oh, okay.
You're not getting any.
For one man.
I don't know, like 2 people.
Yeah.
Because it depends on how hungry you are.
It depends on how many people you've had over for brunch. How many people are in your house from the night before?
Oi.
You might have had a party and people...
It's true, like sleepovers.
Sleepovers, yeah.
That looks really good.
Right, so...
Yeah, it looks really nice and crisp.
That's the Rosti. Let's see how this kind of pans out.
Oh, I like the pun there.
No, you don't. That's the worst. You've got to be really delicate with this.
You can flip at this point, I think.
I don't know if I trust it.
Should I do it?
I'm going to leave it to the expert for that.
Whoa. Oh, that looks amazing.
Now, I mean, there's lots of theories as to whether the egg should go first, the bacon should go first. What I like to do is have the bacon on first and then the egg on top, because then when you break into the egg, it just kind of
cover everything.
Seeps into the thingy. It looks a bit plain, really, doesn't it? So
what do you need?
Rocket is my favourite, so I usually add a bit of rocket on the side, and you can dress that up with some like balsamic reduction or some olive oil. And what I really like to do is add some shredded parmesan. You're free to add some more cheese to that if you want. What you do need is a little bit of pepper. I think that's it.
That's come out really well. That's come out much better than I thought it was going to, Ben. Well done.
Like
He's impressed.
I'm impressed.
Kitchen's a mess.
Everybody's got their own unique journey, and as long as you get to the end.
Well, this just proves
this is motivational.
With
well, it just proves that anyone can cook. You know?
I can cook. Just cook something.
I say this just proves that anyone can cook in the kitchen. That you don't have to be a pro to cook to make.
What are you trying to say?
Just that. I think we should give this a try then.
Ladies first.
Oh, thank you. Have these with that.
Nice.
That's really good.
Good.
Get some eggs.
That's delicious.
So it works. Yeah, I mean it's a bit.
You can taste the garlic really nicely, the cheese, and then it's got the contrast with the sweet potato.
Wow.
Like it's just a really good flavour combination.
It's really simple. A little bit kind of tedious with all the grating and stuff, but.
No, you impressed me there, Ben.
Thank you.
Well, thank you both for coming to this show.
Thank you, Justin. I hope you haven't disappointed too much.
No, at all. So thank you very much. But if anyone wants to find all of these recipes, you can find them on the Mama Lottie website at mamalotties.com. And for other everyday recipes, you can check out the new cookbook, 100 Everyday Recipes, which should be out in shops now or very soon. So I hope you join me again next week, where I'll have another guest with 3 new recipes, and next week I'll be making a starter, main course and a dessert. So I'll see you very, very soon.
That's it. It's really good, huh?
If you want to catch up with all the recipes and ingredients for today's dishes, head over to mamalotties.com. See you next week.